Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to an overly edited episode of I Heart Geek. Okay, we are talking The Boys. Now, okay, let me get out this spiel before I start. Okay, we do not watch these shows as political. We enjoy these shows as purely entertainment, and that is how we are going to go forward on this episode. There are podcasts you can listen to that will be talking about The Boys and go full on right wing, full on left wing. This is no wing. This is purely on an entertainment spectacle. And I got to say something. With this show, I don't like political entertainment. I don't. Either side, I turn it off because I don't like being preached at. This is so good. There's a lot of political stuff, let's be honest, but I can overlook all of it because it is so well written. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, here's the beauty of The Boys, right? Like in the way they do this show is that I think that whatever your political views are, you see the opposite. It's the weirdest thing because like I can see like left wing stuff, I can see right wing stuff, but it doesn't bother me because it seems like even though they leaned a little hard one way, but it seems like they pick on both of them, and I can really appreciate it, and I think that's why it works so well. Is that it doesn't lean too far left or right. It picks on both of them really well, and I appreciate that. I think that's one of the reasons why it's so okay, with that.
And with that is the end of political discussion completely on this show. Yes. We're not talking wings anymore. Now, the other thing. Now, we did do a trauma episode and we kept it family friendly. This is going to be even harder to keep family friendly.
Yeah.
We're not gonna break our own rules. I mean, if your kid's a little bit older, go ahead, but you might want to not listen to this one with the kids in the car. Little kids. It's up to you.
Some subject matter.
However you parent is how you parent. I'm not judging anybody or anything. But we are going to try our best. But this is definitely a very close to NC-17 show. And we're going to try our best to walk around it.
I mean, it's shocking that it's not, right? Like some of the things we've seen this season.
I don't know what they were. I don't know how they got any of this past Sanderson practices. Any of it. Because, I mean, Amazon Prime, they do. It seems like they self-edit a lot, and this was definitely the opposite of that. So, okay, let me introduce the panel. I'm sorry. I'm Dub. I'm here with Skeeter. We're here with Kevin. We're here with Tyler. Now, we have our own little group, and we talk about The Boys like literally every week because we love the show. And, yeah, it's the thing that got me in, and I'm going to ask you guys too, but the thing that got me into this show was the shock factor. I mean, season one, within the first 2 minutes, you see literally like the cutest little love story, and then you see him holding two arms, and that's it's like, my gosh.
So I didn't know anything about The Boys from the beginning. I just saw the trailer. I'm into comic book movie stuff. It's like, oh, cool, comic book movie for adults. Awesome. That's all I knew about it. Literally all I knew. If you look at the old trailers from the first season, I just checked them out again. It doesn't really give away a lot. It's just like, hey, there's more blood. They cuss. Like, and then like you said, with that first 2 minutes, I was like, that's actually what I used to show people. I mean, Tyler, we used to work together, and I used to show people that scene and a different scene that I don't even know how we can talk about. But it was like within the first 5 minutes, and as soon as that happened, holding the hands, and he's just like, babe, I was like, I'm hooked. From this point forward, it's my new favorite show. Right there. What you guys just did there was beautiful. In the most grotesque way.
What about you, Tyler? What was your kind of way into The Boys?
Well, much like Kevin, this one wasn't on my radar. I wasn't reading the comics or anything like that. And I saw the advertisements come across and heard people talking about it. And I was like, what is, you see a couple trailers like, whoa, okay. You got superheroes doing some different stuff here. This is gonna be fun, you know. And being that I'm a Walking Dead fan, and if you remember the very first episode of The Walking
Oh,
Dead,
yeah.
within like the first 10 minutes, a little girl zombie comes walking up to him, teddy bear girl, and he blows her away, you know, and it's like, what is this show? And the
Nothing's off
boys
limits.
had that impact. I watched it that first 5 minutes when she explodes. It just it was I was like, okay, count me in. Let's do this. And you know, it was just that fact that, you know, we've been absorbing so much superhero content, and they're giving us something
It's a palate
with
cleanser.
superheroes that is definitely geared for adults, and
Yeah.
they're just no holds barred. You want superheroes? You want a little more of a real world view? Let's do this. You know, and it's history from there.
Now, before I get to Skeeter, I do want to talk about that first scene just for a second. Now, that is incredibly comic book accurate. And I do want to say this. I love the comic books. It is in my plethora of like my top 10 series. It's an amazing series. However, if you are into the show and you just want to watch the show, don't read the comic book because it'll ruin it. Not because of the surprises, because they changed too much. I think they're both very good on their own. Not like Preacher was completely different. It's like they have the characters mostly right. But I would not suggest reading the comic books. Do it like after, I think. But with that being said, I think it is a just fantastic comic book series. And a lot of my complaints from the show come from because I read the comics. I'm like, well, that was so much better because you can't beat the brilliance of what Garth Ennis did on that. So, Skeeter, I know you came to the game really late. You just got onto The Boys. Tell us about you getting in.
So I watched it once. I watched the first episode. I was getting into it, but I think I just had too many things going on in it. I mean, it grabbed me. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Speedster blowing up, the love scene, the heroes coming in and swooping in, and the whole armored truck piece. I was like, dude, this is bad. And I was like, this is crazy. But I think I was involved in too many binging situations. And then it wasn't until your birthday weekend and everybody's talking about The Boys. Everybody's doing this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go home and watch it. And it was like immediate, why did I stop? And I couldn't stop. I literally binged for like 10 days, maybe less because of work and things. If I didn't have to work, I would have watched it in like 3. But I was hooked. Every piece of it was like literally like this is what happens when you give a superhero ultimate power and turn it into a money-making venture. Like this was awesome.
Yeah.
And it just I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. And then the fact that we talked about it every day for 3 weeks made it even better.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of the show, right? Like my buddy Ryan, who's also on a lot of these shows, is same thing. Is he kept on hearing everybody talk about it. It has a very water cooler type of show, where you have to talk about the show. And he did the same thing. He watched 2 or 3 episodes. It's not my thing, and then he got it hooked him the same way. He watched all 3 seasons in like 3 weeks. You know, same way.
Now, I think that, again, I harp on this a lot. Hey, Netflix and all you other streaming places, this is how you build an audience and a passion is a weekly. I'm sorry. If you want to wait till the end and binge it, then that's on you. But there's something special about the weekly episode that there's a reason why they did that on TV. We are programmed to like that. You miss so much if you binge it. Like, I mean, I binged, I think, the first season. And honestly, it was okay. But if I would have taken some time, because there's a lot of characters I just forgot about completely. It's like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but there's something special about that weekly. So I do recommend watching this on a weekly. Now, spoilers. Okay. Yeah. I want to hit the biggest controversy wasn't in this group anyway, had nothing to do with the discuss factor, with the adult nature with any of the storylines. Actually, most of the condescension in this group has to do with the last episode. So,
Yep.
I had a problem with it. I know Kevin had a bit of a problem. I don't know what Skeeter said. I know Tyler loved it. So I don't. My biggest issue with the end of this season was I feel like, yes, there were stakes, but they happy endinged it, and they should not have done a happy ending. Oh, Maeve's alive. Yay. Oh, Soldier Boy's alive. Yay. Oh, we're back to exactly normal where we were.
That part I do agree with.
But so,
I think I enjoyed the episode. It was, but out of the last part, there was 3 scenes. Out of the last part, I could have done without 2 of the 3 scenes. The Homelander scene, it's become a gift now. I mean, it's a beautiful scene with the violin in the background, and that scene needed to be there. That needed to be in the episode. The other 2, I could have done next season. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we start the next season, and then it would have made sense. Now you waited months and you're holding off, and that's been my only knock on that episode, was that part right there. It made it like, oh, we're back where we started.
It was I wouldn't have minded if it was a regular season episode. The episode before, I would have been perfectly happy as the season finale. It felt, and I think that's the big. It's not so much that I hated the episode. I say, and anytime during the season, I'd be happy with it, except for the season finale. What about you, Tyler? How do you feel on all that?
No, like I said, I agree with the ending there and the way they wrapped it up. There was a lot of, this is a end goal, and we're trying to get there, and then nothing happened. But I can kind of understand it because they're setting up a lot for next season. Also, when everything turned when the son was brought in. When he showed up with his son, it was just like everything turned on its head. Now they got to pivot. What was that the best decision? Was that the best decision? I guess we'll see next season. But I think that was really setting up a lot to do with the boy. So I can kind of understand why they might have went that route. But why are certain people still alive? Like, why did Maeve end up just losing her powers? Why is Soldier Boy being put on ice? Like, that seemed like you should have had an end game there this season and just been done with that and moved on. Especially if they are setting up something with his son. So that's where I do run into point of contention. It's like, it's a little, little much there to just not give us everything we were hoping we'd see, but we got a lot too. I loved it. I did love the finale. It was a banger of an episode to me.
Yes, it was.
I don't know how much of it is going to have repercussions as far as like the actual group, the core group, or if we're, it feels like we're back square one. The boys are back together. We just gained a member.
Again, that's where my issue is. Like, oh wow, we're exactly where we started. Okay.
Yeah, but the big theme of this whole season was fathers and kids kind of turning on their fathers, and I think they're setting up something major for next season in regards to that with Homelander's son. So I can kind of see why, or understand why they would have done it the way they did it, but there was a couple of details they should have left out.
Well, that's the beauty of the boys, right? Like, it seems like every season has built on itself. And I know we're not going to get into theories yet about what happens next season, but I think the idea that this entire season, very good shout out, the entire idea that this entire season was about fathers is going to play a huge role into the mental breakdown that is Homelander. I foresee that last scene is going to be, we're going to come back after next season halfway through and be like, that was the scene that changed Homelander and his direction.
Now, this is something I haven't complained about to you guys, so this is a fresh complaint. This was one other issue I had at the end. Okay, so Homelander introduces his boy. Why did he not bring him out in a full sidekick gear with?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, right.
Seriously, that would make that would just seems like that would make so much more sense because I'm introducing him. He's mine. He has my stamp of approval. And this is just like, okay, well, he just kind of showed up. And I think that was definitely a missed opportunity.
Maybe like a timeline thing. They just have enough time to sew together a suit. Like
It happened real quick. My pops.
It's like a
Possibly.
quadrillion-dollar company. I think they'd be okay.
Right. Well, I mean, that whole scene took place. What? It couldn't have been too long after the ordeal. That's the only thing I could think of.
So, Skeeter, how about you? What'd you feel on that last episode?
I I was still kind of reeling from everything that happened before. This was a total like dad episode. Like, you know, it was Empire Strikes Back all over again. Greatest line in movie history. You know, I am your father kind of a deal. But at the same time, like, I think if they would have cut to black as soon as you know, as the sun came down into the picture, I want to introduce my son. Boom, go to black, and that's it. Like, that would have been the best ending ever. Because then we're like, oh snap! Because we already saw the anger in the sun, like we saw that come out, and we were like, oh man, like we're gonna get Homelander Part 2 because, you know, I mean, what's Homelander quick to do? Even in his little step away daydream scenes, he's red eyeing somebody, you know, in front of a crowd of people. But when he brings his son down, that was the perfect cut to credits, and then open our next season. Just like Tyler said, I'm fully on with Tyler. That season opening, and Kevin said it too, is on Soldier Boy on ice, you know, or Maeve just kind of being Maeve. Like, oh wow, they're alive. What is going to happen now? You know, what's this going to turn into? So, was it the greatest early on? Yeah, absolutely. The end just kind of became lackluster and Phil to me.
Okay, so there's a lot of things I want to hit about the particular characters and what we want done with them. So we're going to kind of go through most of the major characters kind of one at a time. And I want to start with a guy that I feel like should have died at the end because I'm sick of him, but he became such a favorite, even though he is just scummy, and that is Deep. Honestly, I love hate the character because it's just a slap in the face to Aquaman. We get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my greatest cosplay in history.
Here lately for me. I love some of the cosplay, the memes. That whole scene where just it's two married people exploring their new worlds. It was. I love that so much.
Wow.
Man.
So where do you guys, Skeeter? What do you think about Deep as a character?
I honestly, this dude is from the very
he smells
beginning.
fishy, I know, but
he does smell fishy. He's super creepy.
He's a bad frat boy.
He is. He totally is. He's that double pop collar polo shirt. Just like the way he introduced himself. Oh my gosh, when he introduces himself at the beginning to Starlight, you know, that whole scene, I'm like,
oof.
Oh wait, you're number 2? Like you're really? Like, and just the way he played that whole thing, I was just like, I'm already not gonna like this guy. And just the way he played his whole role, I didn't. Like, he kind of bored me, but at the same time, there was that thing about him that I just wanted to slap.
Oh yeah. What about you, Tyler? Tell me about the Deep for a second.
Oh Lord, yeah, he needed to go. Yeah, that dude from the beginning, he's such a tool, and just, you know, the way they do introduce himself, or they introduce him at the beginning. Man, that was bothersome. He's just
that's pretty close to comic book
he's
accurate.
Evil.
It's worse in the comic.
Dude's
worse.
so evil from the get-go, just because, you know, he's deep. He's got all these self-aligned interests and whatnot, but he's definitely could never make the grade. So he was always put in his place by Homelander. You know, no, he's never going to be number one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as the series goes on, you know, he has his troubles and he goes through this. You can see he's an empty-headed, you know, buffoon.
Yeah.
You know, he's constantly knocked
But that's
down
what made him
a
interesting.
level each you know season. Almost each episode, it seems like he's just constantly pegged down another level until he's a garbage, you know, piece of you know, cutlery over there. He just uses to go ahead.
So he's like
exact his
plastic that
plan.
was thrown in the ocean, is what you're saying.
He's fog.
Yeah.
He's
And when
like
next time he
plastic
goes,
straw.
next time he goes on a date with his friend there, you know, he could choke on one of those. That'd be okay.
I am so in the minority here.
Go for it.
Really?
I absolutely.
All right, yeah,
love this
I love him.
character.
I just want him dead. As a character.
No, okay.
The
He's
happenings
great.
are ridiculous and fun. You know, I will
He
say.
is great. No. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm not saying I would hang out with the Deep. I'm saying as a plot point and as a person that is just, he is comedic humor and timing. I love it. He has great taste in women and animals. I mean, who wouldn't? 8 arms. Come on.
Kevin.
I love
Kevin.
I absolutely love Pete. I hate him all in the same, but his character is the most fun character out of the entire Boys series, and I need more. I want a whole episode of the Deep, a hero-gasm in the ocean. I want it.
Oh.
I went too far. No,
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our next character. Let's hit Black Noir. Now, interesting character-ish. I think that they made him interesting for 3 episodes in this series, and that's all he's got in him. He would not be interesting for another episode. He needed to go. Because he is a Batman without any personality. And then they added this whole cartoon aspect, and that was fun, but that got old really fast. And I didn't like how he went out because it was so telegraphed. But honestly, at least they made him, you're going to remember him for those 2 episodes, but there's nothing you can remember for the rest of the series that you guys are going to remember at all. Kevin, let's start with you on this one.
I think so. I agree with you. Black Noir is different now than what he was in the comics. I'd be interested to see what they do next because nobody knows what he looks like. And what, Black Noir just disappeared? Or do you put somebody else in a suit, like, I don't know, a clone of Homelander? I'm just saying.
Well, they showed him what he looks like.
Yeah. Well, no. But
people
the world doesn't know.
Oh, yeah.
So what do they do now? I thought those couple episodes there was great because it showed you felt sorry for him all of a sudden, right? Like the one character that you did not care about, he just kind of mopes around and he's like that just destructive force every time you see him in the first couple seasons. Now all of a sudden with the cartoons, you cared about him, and so that depth, even though those 1 or 2 episodes, that depth became important because of the cartoon characters, and I thought that was very interesting way to do it. So
nice. Yep. Okay, Skeeter.
So I never really put Griff and I talked about it one day, and I think Griffin had said something about he thought that Noir was Homelander's, like there was a relationship there, like brother or something. I don't know, but then realized during the cartoon, the PCP, I don't know, meth acid created cartoon scene, which I thought was phenomenal. At the Chuck E. Cheese was great. I think that brought a different level, and we kind of you got a different piece of who Noir was.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't. He was. His kill scenes were
brutal,
epic,
awesome.
Yeah.
But that scene, that was his moment, and I think every one of them have had some type of moment through the entire show. And that was his defining little backstory action we got to know him, and then his death, however apropos, it was just kind of it lacked need,
Gotcha.
I guess.
Okay, Tyler, what about you?
I was disappointed to see him go, but I also understand, that it was his time. He was awesome from the beginning. Like you said, the fight scenes were killer. It just the way he operated was super cool. I liked the air of mystery around him. He was just always there in the background as somebody who's very lethal, and you just don't know when he's going to be put into play.
Mhm.
But yeah, and it was cool to get some of the background and everything you showed, and then, unfortunately, they took him out in such a. I thought that was kind of a lame way to take him out, but I mean, the scene was cool. It was emotional. It was great, but I was just like, complete dismemberment would have been cool. Just
Yeah.
because it's noir, he can heal so well. So you wanted to make it stick that he's dead,
Make it mean something.
because there's people out there that think he's not
Yeah, there's
dead.
people think he's not
So
dead.
make it stick. Let's rip them in pieces. Something like that. The show's done worse.
It has.
But it makes sense that we need Homelander to eliminate the last one he cares about, and then the last one who can really operate side next to him, and it'd be just as lethal
Yeah.
to an extent. I know more
But
powerful,
does there always need to be a black noir? Like,
maybe in Vod's
Like there
eyes,
always needs to be a Batman.
but it's just one of those things. We need Homelander more isolated now. We need the team he's working with to really not be very good of a team.
he doesn't.
So
he
he's
doesn't
on an
need a
island.
team.
You know what I mean?
I think that's his
the
whole
thing.
thing.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I kind of get why they took him.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, speaking of bad team members, now this is my least favorite character in the show. He had so much potential, and then started the beginning of this season. I hate this guy, and that's because he did his job, and that's A Train. When he's that first moment when he's standing next to Wee Huey, and he goes, "It's funny we're standing here together, isn't it?" And it's just so smug. I hate you. You are garbage. And I think all his pandering and all that other stuff he did was we've seen it places in our society, and it's ugly. I don't know if they should have leaned into that as much as they did. With that being said, yeah, I feel like just like the Deep, I'm like, what else are you gonna do with this guy? There's not a whole lot left. But we'll see what the writers do next year. I think there's gonna be a couple more exits by the end of next season, but I don't know. Your thoughts on A-Train? Let's start with Tyler this time.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of his. Obviously, from the beginning, the guy comes off like a bit of a douche. I don't know for lack.
Well, he's the
better
first guy you have to
term.
hate when you watch the show.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't stop. That's another one. It doesn't stop. He could have been a cool element. They could have used him in different ways, but just throughout the whole series, I don't know. It just gets worse and worse. There was just something about his story that I just wasn't digging. Is it the thing with his brother was really cool. I think that was like a really good scene, well done scene.
Yeah.
But his
When he kicked him
development
out of his
throughout
life?
the series, yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty emotionally charged and stuff, even though we're boys. It's just the way he developed throughout the series. I can see a lot of the points they're going for, and this and that, and that. All that aside, I think he was just useless after like the second season.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think I
see
don't know what else they can
why
say.
they even needed him. Yeah, I mean, I thought he was gone once he drug homeboy Blue Hawk through the streets. I thought that was it. And I was like, okay, fair enough, good ending. But
they could have even done it so that he's running and he's dragging him along, and then his heart gives out, and that way he got his revenge.
Yeah,
and he gets to kind of go out a hero.
Give him a new heart, and now we got to start.
Yeah,
from here we are from square one again. He's got a new heart. He can run. He can do races. Really,
yeah.
I don't think that was needed. So they pushed him a little too far for me. But hey, I'll still be here next season.
Oh yeah,
watching, seeing what's going on.
Skeeter.
Very smug. I I did. So one of the things I did like really enjoy about all of the character creation, and they've kind of done it almost with everybody. I think I need to kind of do a slow rewatch, but they kind of built this soft spot for us. So the relationship with his brother, you know, they humanized him. They made him good, and then he had this problem with with the compound V, and he needed the compound V to make him who he was, and things like that. I think the heart problem. Yeah, that was a good way to get rid of him. I honestly think maybe they should have put him on a maybe up in some type of compound in like Delaware with some kids that were like kidnapped, and maybe a crazy episode down in Hawaii. That oh wait, sorry, that's the other fast guy from the other thing.
Wah, wah.
Oh,
That took me a
I
second.
didn't get the reference. Sorry. That's okay.
I'll explain it later, Kevin. Okay, Kevin, let's hear your thoughts.
So Skeeter hit the nail right on the head. That's what's beautiful about this show is the humanization of some of these characters. I don't like A-Train. I've never really cared for him as a person. But again, his character is very interesting because it's very real and raw. It is you understand why he's doing the things that he's doing. With the whole thing with his brother and that scene where his brother's on the ground and like, no, get out of here. I don't want you here. I felt that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought it would have been perfect for him to die because then his redemption arc in my mind would have been complete. But I think now seeing where he's just kind of cowering to Homelander at the end here, there could still be more to his redemption arc. Like I said, that's the beauty of the show is the humanization of characters, because they're all flawed.
I feel like his redemption arc, I will kind of feel the way I feel as a redemption arc for Scarlet Witch. They don't deserve it.
I agree.
They don't deserve the redemption.
Yeah.
That's too far. Okay, now let's pop on to a new one for this season, and he was just brilliant, and that's Soldier Boy. Wow.
God.
Oh
what
my
a great
gosh.
Character.
I'm gonna let you guys take this because everything on this guy, which is so almost twisted. He was almost pure evil. He was almost good. He is a contradiction because he is so almost, if that makes sense to everybody. Kevin, tell us your thoughts real quick.
He owned every single scene he was in.
Yeah.
I stood on every single word he said. I was hanging on it. Every single action he did, I have never been entranced by a character so much, so quickly than him. I mean, what a great casting, what a great character. That end scene, oh my God, that end scene, you're a effing disappointment. You know what I mean? Like, what a cool character,
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad they didn't kill him off, albeit I wish we didn't hear about it until next season because now he's going to be in the wing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We know it's there. Cool. It's not going to catch by surprise.
Exactly. It would have been really weird or really cool. The next season, they just open up with the frozen Soldier Boy coming in. So what's going to happen, in my opinion, is freaking Homelander is going to snap, and they're going to bring Soldier Boy out of retirement again, and then it's going to be the epic battle in front of the White House. But anyway,
Tyler.
What a villain!
Oh, so good.
That character is so good. I was very surprised at their choice of the actor to play him, but boy,
me too.
He knocked it out of the park, dude. He knocked it out of the park.
It was a Marvel casting.
It was very yeah.
So good.
Yeah, just watching that and just learning the story, I think they did it well throughout the whole series. Just is what they gave you, so you can find out a little more, and then the developments in the middle of the series on what had happened to him in the past, and just it was all so good. Like you said, it was like you almost kind of like sympathized and like, well, I mean, I'd be pretty mad too. But then at the same time, it's like, no, dude is twisted and just,
Yeah.
just so downright disrespectful.
But at the same time,
the things he says to
Yeah.
people, wow.
Violent.
Yeah, and then at the end when they go ahead and I really kind of wish they would have just taken him out because I thought it'd been a cool one series arc. Because I really feel like in the comics there was more than one version of Soldier Boy,
Mhm.
right? And I kind of feel like since we have the family lineage now, I think the son's probably going to end up taking on that mantle.
Yeah.
Really? That's a very interesting.
And that's where I think that there's going to be some stuff between him and Homelander next season. But we'll see. I trust these writers to do something amazing. But yeah, I really enjoyed that character. Soldier Boy. Just if you're going to give me a villain, give me that. It's the Captain America we didn't know we wanted.
Yeah.
He is the better version of what is it? Agent USA or USA
U.S. agent. Yeah.
Yes, he's the better version of it.
Wow. If Marvel would have done that.
then they wouldn't be on Disney Channel anymore. Skeeter, what about you?
So love Jensen Ackles. I'm a Supernatural fan. Like that. I just I like him. I love him in the part. I think one of my favorite scenes is where he tells, when he says, this is the backstory. I had a kid, and that kid is dun 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 with all of my powers. Like, I love that whole just back and forth, the switching the view from here to here, from here to here, and it kept going. I was just like, oh. But in some ways, he didn't seem like a villain to me, because the best villains are the ones that make you hate them, and I liked it. I liked him a lot. So that
he was an almost
good character. Yeah,
he is the boys' version of an anti-hero.
Yeah,
like if there's ever an anti-hero in the boys, because they're all kind of, but he is the actual anti-hero. He's not a villain. He's not a good guy. He's right there in the middle, and those are the coolest characters. And as somebody who never watched Supernatural, never really seen anything from Jensen Ackles, color me impressed. Really, seriously, and kudos.
Okay, so now let's hit the granddaddy of them all, Homelander. I'm going to save my talk for what I want to talk about when we get to Butcher. But this is such a great character, and I don't think I can't imagine anybody else playing him. Just that very, very smug. But when he smiles, you look at him, and he's smiling, and he doesn't know why he's smiling. It just registers, I know I'm supposed to smile here. But you can see it's like there's nothing behind the smile. And the way he plays that more than anything else, I'm in.
Give that man an Emmy or whatever.
Yeah.
Just good casting.
Yeah. Skeeter, let's start with you, bud.
Okay. Like I said before, you got to hate somebody for them to be a good villain. And I freaking can't stand Homelander. I can't stand anything about this dude. I mean, I just, oh my goodness. Like you want to talk smug. Like everything about him is just the way he carries himself. He's like that uber rich guy that just stares down his nose at everybody else. And then he's like, no, everybody loves me. Everybody loves me. Everybody loves me. And I just know, I really wanted something to happen that he just got blown up, or they found his weakness and just exploited it, but it didn't happen. So I'm hoping for something good in season 4.
There's
and
things they do in the comic books that is worse than anything they could do physically.
So I just, the actor, oh my goodness, definitely deserving of multiple awards for just what he's done. And my best villain is the person I hate the most, and he's done it.
That would do it. Kevin, you look like your head's about to explode.
I think we do know his weakness now, don't we? The kid. The kid's the weakness. And I think that's going to play heavy into the next season, as you have two groups of people one that absolutely loves Homelander, and the other group that just saw him blow somebody's freaking head off in public and smiled afterwards. That's going to be the next coming story.
Yeah.
And it all happened because of his kid. Great character. What can't be said about Homelander, really? It's just phenomenal. Great casting.
Tyler.
Yeah. I mean, you guys pretty much said most of it. The casting was amazing. Give that dude awards all day. Just the character from the get-go. It just draws you in so well. You love to hate him so much. It's kind of like when, here I am going back again. Negan on The Walking Dead is like one of those villains. You love to hate him, but you want more. I gotta have more. And Homelander's that way. It's just you want to see what twisted thing this guy's gonna come up with next. And just the ego on this guy is absurd. I've never seen a character written quite like that, and it was thoroughly enjoyable to not like that guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's hit Maeve. Now Maeve had a huge issue that I feel like they never knew what to do with her. Great character. I feel like there was just a lot of arcs that they could have just taken her off and done like awesome superhero stuff and awesome just running the whole team. There's a million things they could have done, but I feel like they just every time they start to run with her, they'd stumble and fall. And okay, well let's look at Pretty Girl. Let's look at it's. I like her, but I think she was a failed effort. And that's not on the actress. That's one of those writing issues. It's just not okay. Tyler, what do you think about Maeve?
Yeah, she should have gone when Homeboy's chest decided to start glowing. I think they should have just taken her out right there.
Huge hero.
I get it.
Moment,
Gave her, big hero moment, sacrifice, all that. I think it feels like they were running two storylines parallel, like with Starlight and Maeve, and they just did Starlight's better, and they didn't know what to do over here. Because they were both kind of like they're both involved. They're both they got something against Homelander. They want to take him out. They want to help the good guys, take him out and everything. But they completed that storyline with Starlight and with Maeve. They're like, well, what do we do now?
It was a fumble.
So I mean, she was a cool character. I just wish they would have done some more with her, like you said.
She needed another season.
Yeah, they could have really.
But we can't see her
played with that.
So, I mean, they gave her a right off the show that wasn't a noble death, so it was kind of meant nothing, unfortunately.
Do you think she'll get her powers back? Everybody seems to want to get their powers back, at one point or another.
We'll
I
see.
hope not.
Kevin.
Why not kill her? I don't understand that. That's one of the few writing things that I'm a little perturbed about when it comes to the boys is why not kill her? We're just going to, hey, she's not dead, but we're never going to see her again because she doesn't have power, so she's going to go live way, way over in the Midwest and nobody knows where she's at. Yeah. What? Just kill her. Like,
this sounds terrible. Wow.
Kill her. But yeah, I mean, the honorable death and all that.
Like it doesn't make sense. That's the one writing faux pas thing I think I just don't really care for.
Well, I do know that when they wrote, the writers had a very clear mandate that they were not going to do a girl in the fridge thing. So they did not want to kill this character.
What does that mean?
The girl in the fridge was a Gail Simone thing. Said that all female characters are just there to build up the men, and they end up dead in a fridge. It's from a Green Lantern comic book, but it was a huge thing for a while. But they were trying to make sure that they didn't kill the strong female, sexually diverse character.
Right.
But she would have had an epic ending.
I agree.
Like that's what you want, and that would have been remembered.
That's what we wanted for these male characters as well. Like just kill them and make them either die heroically or die, make it mean something. Skeet, what about you, bud?
It meant something at that point.
Yeah.
I tried to understand Maeve's whole character, like what is so one of the things that I kind of got lost in was who's enhanced and who's actually like super. So, because they brought in the whole Compound V, so I was like, what is Maeve's thing? Like, is she Amazonian? What the heck's going on? So, like, understanding who she was and then kind of seeing her story develop as she wanted out. She wanted that relationship. She wanted to be on her own. And the ending, her epic ending, was a way for them to allow her out. She saves the day, hero, and then goes. And I think that's where, like, she was a good character. I just think they should have let her go as she desired.
Yeah.
And with the whole Soldier Boy piece at the ending, like, I think that's where it should have been left off. Done. And she kind of rides off into the sunset. Hero, and that's how she's remembered.
Yeah. No, as I say, but and part of this is because of the mega happy ending. It made it so much worse.
Mm.
Okay, let's pop over and let's go to Starlight, who was the female character I think they did the best in this series. Just cheery and conflicted, not edgy at all, because every character doesn't need to be edgy. She definitely has her ups and downs, but I think she's a very well written character, and I like what they did with her in general. I think her and Baby Huey or Wee Huey thing is played out. I hope they don't try to kindle that back up because I want to see what she does on her own. But I think they're going to keep them together, and I don't think she needs. I guess he would need her more than she needs him. I'll put it that way. As a character. Let's start with let's do Skeeter this time.
Erin Moriarty as an actress is phenomenal in this role. I think she does. She fulfills every piece of it. She knows her powers, she knows her abilities, and she grows into that. And I love it. She's conflicted a lot with Huey, with being part of the Seven. Like, where is she at? But I think ultimately, like, we see her make the right choice. And I think going forward, something about her is going to grow and change. Do I want to see that relationship? I think if it doesn't, like, build back up, I think there's going to be that awkward tension.
I'm more okay with that. Yeah,
that's there, but do we like that awkward tension? Do we want that Winnie Cooper, Fred Savage kind of a thing? Because that's what we all love. Or do we just get nothing?
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see how they develop her and how she grows in season 4.
Kevin.
So there's a term, and the term is everyman. Well, she is the every woman. She is the most every quote
girl next door,
most every man of the superhero. She is, you can relate to her. She is the most relatable superhero character. We're definitely going to see her and Huey more. It's going to be a love triangle to end all love. Not triangle. That's not the right way to say that, but
maybe.
You know what I mean. Yeah. But no, I love her character. She has the worst power set out of anybody. I mean, she finally does one little hit by, I need to increase all the energy, and is that all you got? Like, you just knock him down? Really?
I like it. It's a bit like Jubilee. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, she is the most relatable female superhero character, and she does a great job with it.
Yeah. Tyler.
Yeah, like Kevin was saying, she is very relatable, but I absolutely love Starlight's character. She was very intelligent. She constantly had to make quick decisions on the fly.
She was a leader.
To make things happen. Like with Homelander, when she decided right then and there, I'm gonna kiss him. I'm gonna make this whole thing work because this is how we're gonna further things along here with the plan. Using her clout with social media and all that to her advantage. I mean, she didn't need the strongest powers because I feel like she did kind of have some of the lamest power set, but Yeah,
I didn't
whatever.
see it as that lame. I really
No.
didn't. But
I kind of did, but
that's fine. You're allowed to think that way. You can be wrong, but you can think that
darn right. But no. But yeah, I just thought she was just super intelligent, and that really helped her character a lot. The whole Huey thing, I could go either way on that. It doesn't, affect my
Didn't crank your
stance
tractor.
on her.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, whatever. I figured there's gonna be a love story somewhere, and between those two, it just kind of makes sense. And
I'm not anti them having it, but I think it's
No,
run
I
its
know.
course. I think it's run its course.
yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if they, just ended it with those two happy kids being happy together. But whatever. It adds another element to the story.
Yeah. Okay, since we're on him, let's hit Wee Huey real quick. Now Huey, as a character on this show, did the ultimate sin. He isn't the character that I wanted. That the character in the comics was based on Simon Pegg, and yes, they gave him an homage with him being the dad. I don't want it's, and I know they can't use him, but it's a very hard barrier to get across. Is like this was the character. Simon Pegg is perfect for this. He's just too old now, but that's my biggest issue with Huey, and I think that his kind of weaselly thing with the temporary V, I don't know if that made me like him more or less, to be honest. One of those weird things. Kevin, what do you think of Huey?
He became extremely unlikable in this season
With the V,
yeah. I mean, but in the defense of that, I mean, we've seen him go through a lot in the past 3 seasons, and so it made sense, even though he became kind of unlikable. I mean, I kind of placed myself in his shoes, and it made perfect sense. I mean, he's seeing, he saw just from the first 5 minutes we talked about, where his girlfriend, he just holding the arms to, the whole Russian, just everything. It made sense. I hope from this point forward, he starts becoming old Chewie again because he understood the wrong of his ways.
Yeah.
And I would appreciate that if they do that.
Yeah, he had a fantastic arc in the comics that he went off and did his own thing for like a year. And it's a really interesting, they're going to need to do something like that with them. Skeeter.
So I liked Huey. Kind of in the beginning, I like the bumbling idiot, smart guy. Kind of, I'm angry because I lost my Robin, but like didn't really know how to manage that anger.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to kind of direct it, even though he wanted to, but he didn't want to. He didn't know how he was going to beat a soup. So, like, what are we going to do with this guy? We're going to have him join the boys and start to learn and how to harness his anger, his, that trauma that happened to him. And I think they did well with him. I think there's some parts where they kind of, especially in the later seasons where he started using the V, the temporary V, I don't know. It could have been much better how they utilized him. But I'd like to see that go on his own.
Very good. Tyler.
Yeah, much like y'all were saying. Yeah, I really enjoyed him in the first 2 seasons when he was just kind of bouncing his way around with no real guidance, just kind of falling into this whole boys thing, anti-soup because my girlfriend got blowed up, But once he's really started learning the ropes and become a part of the team, he almost seemed more like a tripping hazard for the rest of the group. I don't know. He wasn't the elite soldier you were going to send in to really get things done. But he was still all right. He was fun to have around. He brought that innocence to the group. Little bit of a guiding light. Trying to rein in some of their outlandishness. But with the V and everything, you did see, how he could easily be taken right off the rails.
But like what Kevin said, one of his biggest sins is he's supposed to be the everyman, but Starlight did a better job of bringing you in as the everyman.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Did we already get you, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna do Butcher, and then we're gonna do the rest of the team because we're running short on time. So let's talk Butcher real quick. All I can say is that scene when you see Homelander and Butcher on the same team fighting the same person was everything that I needed to see this season. I loved it.
Yep.
And oh, cool. Somebody disagrees. I'm going to start with you just because you're disagreeing, Kevin.
No, I was shaking my head as in an agreement. I was like, yeah, that was beautiful. Sorry.
Well, go ahead. Tell us about Butcher real quick.
You know what's cool is that Homelander seems to respect Butcher.
Yeah.
There was that scene. Like, listen, we're gonna go. Let's tear it down together, and then it's you and me, and then we're gonna fight. That's not Homelander for anybody else, but there is a respect for Butcher there, which I found very interesting. Like, okay, I understand you're my adversary. You're the one causing all this. Let's tear it down together, and then we're gonna fight. And that last scene was like precluded. It was that was in preclusion to one of the last scenes there of, hey, now let's look at each other. Let's protect the boy. Let's fight Soldier Boy. And there was what an interesting. Butcher had a pretty crazy character arc there. That the brother suicide, very very heavy topic matter. That last part where he's like, all right, Huey, you ready to go? That big old smile. I'm like, I hate you. What are you doing? And then he saves Huey. And it's like, okay, cool. He does have some kind of heart there. He had a really cool story arc. It really did. But I just found that relationship between Homelander and him very interesting.
Yeah. Tyler.
I absolutely love Butcher.
Wouldn't be a show without him.
Again, I don't know who's in charge, but you casted a hell of an actor for him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that accent and just the way he carries himself, love it. The story arc was really cool this season when they went and they hit on what his childhood was like and why he is the way he is. That landed hard with me. Like, I just, not for any real personal reason, it was done so well.
Yeah.
I loved
you could feel
that scene, and it was just like, okay, all right, now we see why this dude is just so rock solid cold. He just you're not getting through to that exterior he's got going on. But the whole V thing, I get it. He wanted the ultimate weapon to fight Soups because he hates Soups that bad. He hates them so much he's going to become one. Just so he can destroy them.
Yeah.
I fully got that. There was no real conflict with me on that whole plot point, so I'm good with it. And the team up, Homelander and him for just a minute, and they look at each other like, okay, see you in a minute.
That's all you need. We got to take care of. Yeah.
That was awesome because they do. Like Kevin said, Homelander respects him. He's earned his respect as an adversary, and that's a good. That's
wild.
Not a good guy, but he's not a bad guy. But he's not a good guy. So I want more.
Skeeter.
So the actor Carl Urban is every bit comic book that you can get. He's been in so many different things, from Red to Thor to and now playing Butcher. I love the story arc with how he hates Homelander, why he hates Homelander, and everything within that. Now he's got another person that he wants to end that is the spawn of Homelander, but at some point he realizes in order to get what we need, we have to work together. But once we're done working together, I'm gonna wreck you. The battle is going to happen. And when that happens, it's gonna be spectacular. I hope we don't, I hope the V doesn't destroy him, because it's already starting to affect him, as we saw kind of wrapping things up. But his whole story, Tyler, spot on. Just his backstory and where he went. So I look forward to seeing Billy Butcher again next season.
Yeah. Okay, so we got 3 characters, and we're running way late, so we're going to 2 of them together. We're going to try and get through these fast. No disrespect to the characters and blah blah. Okay, so this is my favorite couple, which is the female and the Frenchman.
Yes. Umiko.
The female.
Kamiko.
In the comic books, that's her name. The female.
Or Kamiko.
Yeah. Whatever. Nico. Great. I love their little couple thing. I think they're a fantastic couple together. I am not a fan of the Maniac. Unlike everyone else in this room, loved it. I hated the whole Maniac. It felt so cheesy.
Her little feet start going. It's like, oh, here we go.
But great characters. Let's start with Tyler. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I love those two together. That was the love story I was following. They're both some screwed up individuals. Yeah. She had a ton of baggage, and he's obviously got his issues, but they were so fun. And I wanted to just see those kids ride off into the sunset and be happy.
Those crazy kids.
For once, like, I want more drama most time, but those two, I just wanted to just ride off and be happy. Like, I just like them that much. And she is awesome. When she goes to town, she is lethal, man. And I enjoy that.
Skeeter.
They're phenomenal. Kumiko, the female, however you want to go with it, she just wrecks people, and she's got kind of this light airiness about her, even though she's got like this I'm gonna tear your face off whole thing. That's the Wolverine power of healing. She's bad.
She can make use of many weapons.
Yes. The Frenchman. Seriously, like, this dude is insane. Does more drugs than Cheech and Chong, but literally like wrecks the world. He's a mad scientist and love it. Yeah. They're a perfect combo to the boys.
Kevin.
So those 2 crazy kids and all the things they get involved in. Look at that. Kamiko, she had an interesting story arc, all right? Like, I don't want this superpower anymore because it was forced upon her. And then as soon as she had a choice, she went for it. And I appreciated that storyline there, just because it was like, now it's like, it's mine. I own it. And now we saw that. That's why that Maniac scene I enjoyed so much. It was her actually like feeling good about herself in her lot in life. That makes sense. And with Frenchie, as a person who has dealt with addiction, I appreciated his story too. Because what was he doing? He was doing all kinds of drugs, but then talking about Huey and Butcher doing all kinds of drugs. Like, that's what addicts do. It's a very hypocritical thing, and he played it perfectly. I can't believe you guys are doing this. He's shooting up, like, you know what I mean, or snorting. It's real though, dog. That's real, and Frenchie is such a cool character, man. I love all of these characters so much.
Yeah.
They're just all so likable in all atrocious ways.
Exactly. Everybody is bad. And let's finally let's hit Mother's Milk. Now, although the actor is doing a fantastic job, he needs to be about 75 pounds bigger of strength. I don't feel like he's strong enough, big enough to be that character that is Mother's Milk. With that being said, I think the way he's playing the character is fantastic. I love the interplay between him and the stepfather. I don't understand what's going on with his ex-wife, because it seems like they're still together. It's a little confusing, but it is what it is. Mother's Milk, Kevin.
I felt that punch so much. Me as a single dad that my daughter's in the other room. I felt that punch. I felt that emotion. And I appreciate the way that he's being played. I mean, they're doing a whole different side of Mother's Milk as the single father, and just how he's actually dealing with his own tragedy. And that scene where he finally opens up to his daughter in the bed was a beautiful scene, because she's like, "Daddy, no, I still love you, and you're still the best." And it was just an absolutely beautiful scene. Now, flip side, Mother's Milk. I found out the reason why they call him mother's milk in the comics.
We're not talking about it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and of all the things to shy away from, it's that. You go figure.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll ever do that, but
yeah, no. Skeeter,
I like this character. I love his backstory, being a sailor, being an old corpsman, working with Marines and doing his thing. I loved the dad side of him, as well as the way he was a team player. How he supported Huey, he would push Butcher, like he did everything that he was supposed to, and I really like that. One of my most favorite characters in the whole show.
Tyler.
Yeah, Mother's Milk. That storyline, I really liked how they tied it up at the end.
Yeah.
The whole time he's just thinking of himself as a complete monster and trying to tamp that down in front of his daughter. And he finally comes to terms with who he is and how he operates, and he finally gets a chance to and gets the clear thought to just sit down and explain to his daughter what has happened in the past and why he's doing what he's doing, and explain who the Soups really are, and instead of hiding all that from her. And I loved it. I loved how they tied that up, and that was perfect.
Yeah. So we are unfortunately out of time, so we get like 2 seconds. Your grade, Kevin. 2 seconds.
Oh, A+. A+ by far. A+, love the show.
Tyler.
It gets a solid A because Stormfront is Homelander's mom.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
That's crazy because I just asked Dub the same question in the chat, but I give it a solid A. I don't like doing A+ because you got to have somewhere to go. So a solid A across the board.
I give it a solid A-, which for me is an exceptional grade.
That's a great one.
If you want to hear about our theories of what's going to happen next season and everything else, join us on the chats because we'll talk. We're going to talk about it there because we're just solidly out of time. Check out the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use Tom. We paid extra for it. Go to the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, the smoke signals, whatever. Talk to us. We do talk back. It makes the show so much better. So until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Skeeter. We're here with Kevin. We're here with Tyler. Keep on geeking on, kids. We'll see you next time.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.